Hello and welcome to Janette's TV. I'm your host, Janette Burke. We are doing our first set of home screen, split screen Zoom interviews today amid COVID. We hope that you're doing well. And today I have joining me Lily Walford, who is Love with Intelligence, which is relationship consulting. And it's a little bit more than that. I'm going to let her tell you because there's like this element to it that involves almost like a Sherlock Holmes process to finding out who you're dating. And that's why I think this is very interesting. Now, we are living amid a COVID. So today we're going to talk about dating in the COVID crisis and what we need to really watch out for. And we want to welcome Lily Walford to the show. Welcome, Lily.
Hi, thank you for having me.
You're so very welcome. All right, let's just get right into it. So, Lily, dating with COVID is a bit of a concern today, not just for singles, but maybe people who are also in relationships, could be in relationships with the wrong person. You're going to tell us a little bit more about that. Tell us why you got into this field and started Love with Intelligence. And viewers, stick around because there's a very special giveaway offer at the end of this interview, but you have to stay till the end to hear about it. So, Lily, tell us a little bit about yourself and why you got into this profession and why you started your business.
Yeah, so this is all sprung about from my own personal journey. I had been through every single toxic, abusive, controlling, manipulative relationship you could possibly think about. And when you go through relationships like that, you tend to then question yourself like, oh, am I actually capable of a loving, healthy, long-lasting relationship? So this led me even further into like self-development, learning about all these different things. I started becoming certified in NLP, hypnotherapy, coaching. And one thing that it made me realize it didn't matter how much confidence, self-worth, self-love you had. It didn't matter it didn't stop the controlling, narcissistic characters that can enter your life and want to form a relationship with you. And
I don't think you're the only woman who's experienced this. Sometimes, the smarter, the more educated, the more professional, the more career-oriented we are, the worse it is. It's almost like we're a magnet to attract these type of people. But we're living in COVID, and many of us are basically online dating or participating in virtual events that are kind of like what we call speed dating or somewhat like that, speed dating. And, are we setting ourselves up to attract or come in contact with potentially more harmful mates? What are some of the things that we need to look out for when we're dating amidst COVID and some of the signs that we may be attracting the wrong partner?
Yeah, completely. I think there's a few different things that you can look at. So we use something called behavioural profiling. So it helps us to identify people and understand people within 6 minutes. It's amazing. So one thing you can do is have a look at the signs, first of all, for narcissists. I think that's really important because a lot of people can get sucked in by their charisma and their confidence. And we all love like an alpha male, don't we? We're instantly attracted to them. But we can often find narcissists can really mimic those behaviors. And it's learning, okay, how can we, understand if that's just a mask that we need to look behind that extra layer? Or is that genuine person? So you can have a look at things like if you tell them a sad story or a happy story about yourself, are they showing that in their face to you? Are they going, okay, I feel sad for you? Are they showing those emotions? Another thing, are they leading the conversation to just about themselves or just about sex? Because they love that superficial layer. They love to go, oh, yes, I'm amazing, look at me. And, by bringing it into just sex, It's also keeping it very superficial. It's not deep and meaningful. You're not getting that connection. So there are a few of the things that you can look at to see if there's someone who's just after a short-term fling, or whether a narcissist versus a long-lasting, healthy, loving relationship.
So maybe some of the other things that I would want to know, or maybe you could give us some tips to pinpoint, how much time should we be investing in online conversations on Zoom? We could be spending a lot of time with somebody who's basically stringing us along while they're also maybe talking to 10 or 20 other people or women, right? And of course, with the type of dating style that COVID affords us, which is basically you sit at your place, they sit at theirs, and you eat or have a coffee or whatever, tea, or you eat a meal on your end and they're in their end. I mean, it's a very strange way to date, because there's not a lot of investment here other than time, right? Like, they're not taking you out for a meal. They're not really doing much to prove themselves to you. How do we work around that, and how do we build up to maybe a face-to-face interaction down the line, and what we should be looking for to see if this person is really invested in us?
Yes. Yeah, great question. I think one thing that's really important is, when you look at a relationship, what is it that you want? Is it that connection that's like rock solid, where you've got that foundation? Well, guess what? The meals and stuff are not a part of that. The thing that's going to build that up is the connection you have with them. When you're spending time together, I'd say first date, it's usually good to do half an hour to an hour, because it gives you a flavor of who that person is. And it's important to, ask questions, get to know each other, and see if the questions are toing and throwing rather than just going back to just them.
But what kind of questions? Give us an example of a good question to ask somebody.
Yeah, okay. What do you want for the future? That's a great one, because it opens things up, whether it gives you an idea of where their values lie. Is it having a family? Is it building up the career? Is it having a loving relationship? And this helps you to identify the actual compatibility of, yourself and that person, whether your values and your beliefs are, you've both got similar priorities that you can grow and evolve together with. Because that's something that a lot of relationships.
So then, let's say you do finally meet up. There may be maybe down the road, or I guess it really depends where you live and what the social distancing restrictions are. Some people have met up in parks wearing masks and keeping 6 or 6.5 feet apart. Again, if you're allowed to have that kind of a meetup, whether it's a walk or whether it's a picnic, or some kind of, like, you sit in your car and pop up the back hatch and they sit in theirs. That first meeting, where you've been only interacting online, what should we be looking out for there in that first meeting? Because it is a little different when we take it offline.
Yeah, I think the number one thing that really springs to mind is, do they have your best interest at heart? Because COVID-19, it's sprung up a lot of questions and things like that, whether it's okay to meet or whether it's okay to hunker down with a stranger for social distancing and isolation. I think it's really important to see their intention. Also, when you see someone in person, you can actually read their body language. When we're communicating with someone, we actually subconsciously give off a completely different language. And with behavioural profiling, we were able to decode that. So, for example, if someone says, yes, I'm ready for a long-term relationship, their body could be saying something completely different. Especially when we consider that we've learned to lie since the age of 2 years old. I think we've honed the lying skill, over the freaking years. So it's being able to decode the body language from that as well.
I guess there is also a bit of a danger or potential risk, because we don't know if this person, again, is meeting up with other people. And then the truth is, every time you expose yourself to another person amid COVID, you could be potentially carrying the COVID gene and spreading it. So even if you're social distancing, okay, maybe you're going to get it less, but you could be putting yourself in harm's way. even more so, let's say, if you decide, I saw this on Facebook. I don't know if this is acceptable, if people are doing it. I'm sure somebody's doing it somewhere. They're kissing through masks, which I think is kind of risky.
Yeah.
What do you have to say about that?
Yeah, I think it comes down to, is this person got your best interests at heart? And I think with this, I think it's really important to be able to read someone. Are they telling the truth when they're saying, okay, they're just seeing you? Are they or are they lying about seeing other people? And also, it's asking you, what are you comfortable with? What's your boundaries? What are you actually happy with? And are they going against that? Because
boundaries, that's a really important thing that I think a lot of women sometimes have trouble setting. How do we set like a healthy boundary today? Like, okay, obviously we should be looking to see maybe how much of a rebel our potential partner is and to what level they are observing or adhering to the social distancing rules. But like, how do we set those boundaries? Not just in what we will and will not accept, because I have a feeling that maybe we're accepting too much in the midst of COVID, because we're lonely and we're eager to meet people. But like, how do we decide what we will accept and what we won't accept? And how do we express those boundaries in a healthy manner?
Yeah, completely. So I think it's number one, feel into it, think about what it is that you're comfortable with and feel into it. Your body will tell you whether something's right or wrong. If you've got to think about it, it's probably wrong. So, and the other thing is, when you're actually communicating that to someone, it's important to see that their reaction is actually on side with you. That they're not pushing against it. I mean, one thing that narcissists will do straight away is push, because they're constantly looking for that control. They're looking for that way of, okay, how can I control and how can I push this person to do what I want?
Right. Even to get you to break the rules if that's what they think is acceptable.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
So you have to check in with yourself and make sure that this is in alignment with who you are.
Totally.
Not going against that. All right. So then maybe I would ask you, like, at some point, should we be testing them, a potential mate? And we mean this because we're mostly a women's show. We're talking about male mates, but it could be another woman meeting another woman, or it could even be a man meeting a woman. I just want to clarify that because we do have some male viewers as well. But like, when we are at the stage, maybe stage 2 of reopening the economy, or stage 3, and we're now able to potentially go to a restaurant or a coffee shop, should we be observing then how they treat us? Like, should we be even observing it to the point where are they even asking us to have that type of a meeting? Because to me, that would indicate that they are more serious and willing to put some skin in the game in terms of like, are they going to pay for me when I go on a date, than just keeping everything online and you staying in your own home and they're staying, that's very easy to do. And there's really not a lot of commitment on that side, financial or otherwise, right? But at some point, I think you have to test to see if there is going to be some, like, how are they going to show you that you're important to them, or that they're going to throw some skin in the game? Go ahead.
Yeah, completely. I think this is the thing. We feel that we have to do these tests and things like that, and to be honest, that's not the case. Going back to behavioral profiling, you can see the truth better than a polygraph machine. I mean, this is how cutting edge this stuff is. So when you've got someone turning around to you and saying, yes, I want to be with you. Yes, I want to spend time with you. No, I'm not seeing anyone else. When you can see that that's the truth, do you feel that you need to test? And I think this is where you actually have
in today's world, yes, because I think for some people, yes, because sorry to interrupt, because they've been hurt too many times before, they've trusted too much.
Yeah. Completely.
Sorry, go back to what you were saying. I cut you off a little bit. I interjected there, but go ahead.
No, absolutely fine. No, I'm proper excited about this stuff. So yeah, I think when you've been hurt so much, you question things like, you want to test things. What does that mean? What does this mean? But with this stuff, you're able to see the truth. And I think the amazing thing about seeing the truth is that you can make the choice. So if you see someone who's, probably going to go off for an affair later in a few years' time, are you going to choose to be with that person, or are you going to choose a person who you can see who is ready and open for a loving relationship and who is capable?
It's funny when you say choose, right? Sometimes we choose what isn't good for us. It's a repetitive pattern. Maybe COVID is also teaching us that we need to get in a relationship with ourselves as well as with other people, and ask ourselves why we do make these kind of choices if they are a pattern.
Completely. I mean, one thing about behaviors, they're always influenced by emotions in some sort of way, whether it's from past, whether it's from the, what we're worried about that's going to happen in the future. We're always looking for that control to stay safe and secure. So have a look at, your past relationships. What did you do in the past? How are you, currently attracting men in? Is it through your personality and getting to know them, or is it through your body? What are you doing to actually, secure a loving relationship, and why are you doing it in that way? Because it's quite interesting.
I think something else, though, is that the fact is a lot of us are very lonely, especially like living in a COVID situation as a single person can make you extra lonely. And when we're extra lonely, sometimes we put our guard down, our defenses down, and we decide that we're going to accept more and say less because we're so eager to have another person in our life that we can connect with on a regular basis, whether it's, simply by these type of Zoom conversations, or eventually you meet up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think, is there something that we should be looking at that we may be more willing to accept at a loneliness because we're in isolation?
Yeah, completely. I think it's quite interesting having the alone time and seeing what's comfortable and uncomfortable about it. Because the more comfortable you are with being alone, the more likely you're going to be able to feel comfortable with attracting the right one in. Like you said, if you're feeling uncomfortable being alone and you need to go into a relationship, it's more likely to develop into something that's codependent. Rather than something where you could grow and evolve together. Relationships are about two individuals coming together and making a great impact together.
Right. Okay, so how, let's say this is going to go on for several more months, right? They're predicting. How do we keep it interesting? Dating by Zoom could maybe get boring. How do we keep it interesting? And, also at some point we're not just going to reopen parts of our economy, but they're saying international travel will maybe be resuming by July. It's a high risk thing. Obviously, it's going to be monitored with more rules. How do we keep it interesting? How do we know when it's time to meet up? Is it safe to meet up with somebody who may be traveling?
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to comment on that. I mean, personally, out of my own experience, I wouldn't want to put someone else in danger, nor myself. So I'd be waiting until the coast is completely clear.
So how do we keep it interesting? Because we may be at this for a while. The vaccines are not released. So how do we keep it interesting?
Yeah, completely. There's so many different ways. It's getting creative, and it's understanding your partner or potential partner at that deeper level. I mean, one amazing thing that you can do is something called the 36 love questions. And these questions are actually designed to create intimacy and create a better connection with this person. So you can go off and do something fun like that. You can go off and get the same ingredients and make a meal together on Zoom. There's loads of different...
Or have a theme of it, like a French meal.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm going to ask this question, and I'm going to get into the nitty-gritties, okay?
Mm-hmm.
What about the sexual component?
Mm-hmm.
Even though we are, using Zoom or other technology, is there a way to add physical connection?
I think, to be honest, physical connection is the easiest way to connect. I think the hardest way is actually emotionally connecting. I mean, how many times I've heard women go, I just didn't feel I could reach his heart. And that's the hardest bit. So I think everyone's okay with, you know, bringing in the physical element, you know, once rules and restrictions have been lifted. But I think having this time to connect with people over video calls and things like that will give you the chance to create a meaningful relationship from getting to know their heart.
That's almost like an old-fashioned approach that like our grandparents took, right? Because they weren't rushing to the physical aspect. They were building the friendship and the connection first. All right, let's get into, you have a very unique process, and there, you know, are certain things about your business that are very unique and distinct from other relationship coaching. I would like to focus on that now, and I would also like you to tell us about this new technology you're bringing in very soon, like in another week or two. I think you said June sometime.
Yeah.
Go ahead, tell us about what makes your business unique.
So we've partnered up with someone called Chase Hughes, and he's a world leader in behavioral profiling. He's had $30 million invested in his research, with 20 years behind him as well in this research, protecting military operatives in life or death situations. So this is how intense and how amazing this technology is in reading people. So being able to read people at a, you know, better than a polygraph machine and profiling someone within 6 minutes. And what this does is it helps women to date safely and successfully from a compatibility level. You can see if someone's compatible or not. And also, you know, from a safety level, you can see if someone's safe to be with. I mean, it's like 1 in 3 women at the moment go through an abusive relationship. So we take
it's very high right now, yes.
Oh, it's gone even higher now with lockdown. I think it's increased by something like 40%.
But that's in couples that are living together mostly, but still, yes.
Totally. But the thing is, with this technology as well, it can still be used in those scenarios. You can actually go through pre-violence indicators, which can give you time to get away if need to, or to diffuse the situation as well. So this stuff is incredible.
Okay, but some of the things that make love with intelligence different. Let's talk about that. And let's also talk about the fact that you said something like you could take pictures that somebody gives you of somebody they found to date on the internet, whether it was an online dating profile or something of that sort, and you could actually have those pictures analyzed and get some sort of report on that person. So explain that to me a bit more, please.
So that's one process. So we've got a guy on our team called Ben Cardle, and he can read profiles like Sherlock Holmes. He can go through and have a look at a photo and say, oh my gosh, for example, we gave him a few photos for a dating profile, and he managed to deduce that the guy was a murderer, a paedophile, and had that criminal record. And he did that within 1 minute. Wow. So we're actually training people how to do this, and also having a done-for-you service as well for women who, you know, might have gone through an abusive relationship in the past and don't want to go through that again. So we're adding that extra safety level for you.
In addition to one-on-one and sort of group coaching, right? Where you talk about relationship issues and what have you.
Exactly.
Well, that's very interesting. Okay, so we're getting close to the end here, and I need to talk now about that beautiful giveaway you've got coming on to give our audience today. And I just want to remind everyone that in order to claim it, when we release this interview, there will be in the description below a link to go to register to claim this, and then you can just sign up on that link. So Lily, tell us what the giveaway is, and just tell us what it is. It'll be claimed through my end, so we'll promote it at the same time. Again, the links will be below on how to claim it when this episode is released. Go ahead.
Perfect. So we're actually going to give you a 7-day access to see the truth. So it's an introduction into behavioral profiling. So you can learn how to analyze certain behaviors and see the truth within your partner, within your relationships, to improve your love life and to have a more connected, healthy, loving relationship.
Okay, so but what actually, it is a certificate for valued at $197
It
in
is, yes.
UK money, so that's even more in Canadian and US money. Tell me exactly what it's called.
Yes, it's called 7 Days to See the Truth. So it's set up with your own membership area where you have videos for each day over 7 days to learn about what to analyze, what to look out for, what to see, and what it means, what are the meanings behind it. I mean, we've all been there where we've wondered whether someone actually meant something that they said, or what did that mean, or is this person comfortable around me? And it's quite nice seeing on Zoom whether someone's really comfortable with you on a virtual date, whether it's going well or not. And you can find the answers within that just by looking and understanding what you're interpreting.
Okay, so it's a boot camp, right? It gives you access to video training for 7 days. It answers a lot of questions, and it's worth $197 in British sterling pound. Okay, so if you want that, you're gonna have to go below, follow the links below, and sign up to receive. One lucky winner will be announced, and you'll have this experience. It's great. All right, now Lily, before we sign off, I need you to tell my audience how they can reach you should they wish to work with you. Love with Intelligence, Lily Walford. She's the owner and founder, and she is also a trained NLP practitioner, and she can help you with your relationship needs. She's also a hypnotherapist, by the way. So how do we reach you, Lily, if we want to work with you?
Yeah, fantastic. So you can find me on our website. So it's www.lovewithintelligence.com. We've got free ebooks, resources, loads of different things on there if you want to find out more.
Yes. Now we will have a link to that as well, so we can repeat it. www.lovewithintelligence.com. And if we want to email you, how do we send you an email, Lily?
Yeah, so that's info@lovewithintelligence.com.
Okay, I'll repeat that. info@lovewithintelligence.com. Okay. Well, Lily, it's been a pleasure. And thank you so much. I think this is very vital information for today's dating situation. All right. Thank you so much, audience, I want to thank the audience for being here with us today. And we want to remind you that you can find us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram, Zoom, YouTube, Vimeo, and so many more. We are literally everywhere. #Janette's TV. And until next time, continue to be fabulous. Please remember to share, like, and comment on all our posts, and invite your wonderful female friends and great guys, the smart men in your life, to partake of this as well. We look forward to seeing you next time. This is Janette Burke, your host, signing off.